In today's video, we are going to talk about relationships that have a big fat RIP on the top of them, and yet they're still walking around our everyday lives. You know it. You know you have them because I've experienced this too, and it's a really common thing. Again, I really honestly believe that you are a individual that has a huge, massive heart, that you care deeply about people, that you really care about what they're experiencing, what they're going through. And sometimes we actually still can get caught up in other people's emotions. We can even do a little projecting of how we would feel in that situation onto them. So we become almost overly sympathetic to their needs, and we start kind of putting ours back a little bit further. And even though we've done this massive healing journey and we're awakened women and we understand so much more of ourselves, we have these relationships. And like I said, it could be a marriage, it could be a partnership, it could be a best friend that you've had. And a lot of these are usually 10 plus year relationships that we've all had in our lives. And we experience this sense of like a little maybe, who am I without this person? Or I'm really going to miss their friendship. But I know deep down in my soul that this is over. But why do I keep not doing anything about it? And that's really where the truth of the matter comes into play, is figuring out what is really going on. Maybe you don't have the resources yet financially to walk away. Maybe there's something in you that feels like I should just keep trying. But because I experience this too. I know. And it's not here. It's here. And that's the difference here. This, we all know it can be a hot mess. This here is a very different story, and your intuition is a very different story. So let's get curious here. Ask yourself this question and answer it. What is it that is the payoff? Right now you feel secure. You're just too exhausted after doing your healing journey that to open up this can of worms, it's like you just don't have the wherewithal. Like, what is your so-called reason for it? And get really clear and honest about that. Because the worst person in the world you should be lying to is yourself. And you know that. And so let's put all of that aside. Let's get really, really real. Why are you really still in these relationships with these people? Are you afraid to be alone? Do you think that you're never going to find another person? Do you think that this is better than nothing? Or, well, now I've healed, so I now have boundaries, or I can speak my voice, so I can keep doing this? I want you to think about, if you had to live today, every day for the next 10 years of your life, how does that feel in your body? Honestly, how does that really feel to think about living this today for the next 10 years of your life? That should tell you something. Now, I want you to think about, what would it look like or feel like if you had the next 10 years where you let this go, you sent it off with love, whatever this relationship is, and you did it as humanely and kindly as and supportive and loving as you can, regardless of how the other person shows up. And you gave it a kiss and you let it go. And now, for the next 10 years, you are now allowing and giving space to new people, to new relationships, to new opportunities and places and experiences that light you up. that make you feel so alive that you're like, I can't believe this is my life. I can't, like, this is so awesome. I like, wow. Wow. And I am so grateful that I had the courage and I honored my needs to release what I needed to release so I could be here right now. You know, we've had those moments where we are so grateful to our past selves for being so courageous that we get to live out the life that we're living right now. And that's so true when you've done a healing journey or on becoming an awakened woman. Like, you think about all the tears and getting up over and over again and going through all those emotions that you experienced. And now you feel so much more whole, so much more expansive, so much more different. So think about that relationship in that same regard. What could be now possible for your future? Could you have a new identity? What would it be like to just sit and jot down a new identity without this person in your life? That you bless them, you love them, you let them go because you love yourself enough to let them go, and you love them enough to let them go. And that is really what true love is about, and being whole is about. That we're no longer attached to the blankies. We're no longer attached to past threads and old programs. We've gone into this space where our healing journey was so more than just healing. It was making the world an oyster of possibilities and new realities in a whole new way. That's what it really was for. That's what it's really about. It's about you choosing all over again, about relationships of all kinds, personal, professional, friendships, lovers, and everybody and everything in between. You get to choose now. And you get to choose again. And again and again and again. But to choose that, we need to create space. The divine, universe, God, whomever you believe, source, is asking us all to create space for that. What do they say all the time when you want a new relationship? Clean out part of the closet for them, clean out a nightstand for them, sleep on one side of the bed. You know? It's like, and if you're struggling with a relationship that you've had for a long time, it's okay. It's more than human to start grieving for that relationship being gone, if that's what it's asking of you. It's asking you to feel. It's asking you to do whatever it is, and only you know that. And Rome wasn't built in a day. So what is one thing that you could do for yourself that would be self-loving to help you take one step closer and do one thing each day? Maybe it's write in your journal a goodbye letter and just cry it all out, or get angry, or whatever the emotions that show up. Write the goodbye letter. And then write a hello letter to your future. Write and ask yourself the question of, who am I with this person, and who am I possibly to be without this person? Because every coin has two sides. It's about choosing the side of the coin that we want to look at. And you've come so far. Like you have so much. The world is wanting to give you so much. So many new relationships to come in. So maybe you need to get your finances in order. Maybe you need to write the letter of goodbye. Maybe you need to do all of that and maybe a few other things. But start the process. Take the action steps to starting to make that a reality and follow through. If that is really what is best for you, is to release this relationship, bless it and let it go. Because your life is so valuable and your life is so precious, and you know this. But I want you to really, really hear that again. You are most likely a woman in your 40s, 50s, or beyond. And yes, hopefully we live long lives into our 90s and 100s. But we have right now, in this moment today, which is a complete clean slate. Show yourself how much you love yourself now by doing those little steps today that will reward you so much later. Because you're a beautiful soul and you deserve a wonderful life that is full of joy and happiness. You've done your time with mediocrity. You've done your time with good enough. She doesn't live here anymore. So give the you that you've become all the joy and love that your heart has to yourself. Now, if you feel inspired, or some of the things that you've experienced or what you've done or the steps you've taken to inspire other women, list them below. I know other people would love to hear and see them. But you are a gorgeous woman inside and out, and you deserve everything the world has to offer. Now go claim it and make space for it, because you've got this.